Welcome back to KFYO Mornings with Dave King and Matt Martin. I'm Matt Crow, and I hope that isn't giving Jerry Reynolds pause for concern. But Jerry, good morning. How are you?
Hey, Matt. Good to talk to you again. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. We got Jerry Reynolds, the Car Pro, on, and Jerry, real
Yeah.
quick before, and Dave King is on as well.
Yeah.
Hi,
Good
Dave.
morning, Jerry.
And at the break, I was talking about just real quick before we get to the automobile. You've got listeners all over California, which is where I'm from, and I was curious what your thoughts were about Governor Newsom's edict from a few days ago that no new cars are going to be sold, no new gasoline powered cars are going to be sold after 2035.
Yes, and boy, that was a bit of a stunner, to be honest with you. In fact, I've been asked that question so much in the last week that on my website, under the news section, I gave my thoughts on exactly the issues with what he wants. I think for me, the biggest one is I don't want what I drive to be mandated. I just got a real issue with that. If I want to drive a gasoline powered car in California, I should be able to, and you got to let the market decide that. If California wants all electric cars by 2035, gas cars won't be selling, and they'll eliminate themselves. But I expect a lot of court challenges on that subject. Their electrical grid can't handle what they've got right now, with much less plugging in 15 million cars every night. What are we going to do with all those batteries when they start going bad in all those electric cars? And then the bigger question for me is, it's gas taxes that pay for the roads.
Mm-hmm.
And when there's no gas being sold there, then what are we going to do? There's just there's way more questions than there is.
Is this saying California is not going to allow a gas car on the road, or they're just not going to allow them to sell them there?
They won't allow the sale past 2035.
Well, so people by the
masses
masses would be going across the border to Arizona or Nevada and buying gasoline cars there.
That's what I said on the air with you guys last Saturday. I said I'm going to buy a dealership right around Utah and as close to the border as I can get.
I'll come to work for you.
Well, and it's going to drive used car prices through the roof because everybody will be flocking to used cars. I don't see this happening. And if you look at what his executive order, he didn't order anything. He used the word goals 3 times in that order. Targets was another word that he used. He really didn't say. It was a big publicity grab in my opinion.
It sounds to me like he's just trying to appease the far left.
Yeah, and again, I think it was all for publicity. It was shocking. I'll give him that, but
yeah,
boy, I think just a lot of problems with it.
Well, Jerry, you're driving a Ford today.
I am. I've got the Ford Edge, one of the most popular midsize SUVs in America, and when you drive it, you kind of see why. It's just a solid SUV. It has been for many years. Reliability throughout the history of this vehicle, which came out, if I recall, in 2007, reliability has been exceptional with this thing.
Jerry,
very
is it
nice.
Just me, or do all these cars, all these SUVs look almost alike? I'm getting to where I can't tell them apart.
No, I have
It's
trouble
like
with it too.
It's like they made one and everybody else copied it and just made a little moderate changes, but they all look pretty much the same and work the same.
Yeah, they've kind of all copied Lexus, to be honest. Back when the old RX 300 came out, and it was really the first sort of round, egg-shaped SUV, and boy, everybody's jumped on the bandwagon. This is the Titanium, which is the top of the line. There's one above it, but it's called the ST, which is a performance SUV with a lot more horsepower. But this is the Titanium, leather seating, power, panoramic moonroof. It's got everything in the world you can put on one. Coming in at right around $45,000 on the window sticker. The one thing I was curious about, this has got a 2-liter 4-cylinder turbocharged engine. And I had my doubts as to whether this thing was going to have enough horses. It just seemed like a 2-liter 4-cylinder in a fairly heavy SUV wouldn't move it very well. But, I've been very pleasantly surprised when that turbo kicks in, when you're trying to get up on the freeway. It'll get you up there, and it'll get you up there in a hurry. And you still get 29 miles to the gallon out on the highway, which, again, isn't bad for a large, not a large SUV, but a larger mid-size SUV. This is one of the larger mid-size 5 passengers, a lot of cargo area in the back because you don't have that third row seat. So, if you're looking for something mid-size and you're looking for a bargain, the incentives that Ford has kept on the edge over the past few years have been very large. Right now in Texas, it's $6,000. So you're talking about, with discounts and rebates, SUV you could buy for $36,000 to $37,000 with everything on it, and that falls in line with everything else out there right now.
Hey, Jerry, explain something to me. Around here in Lubbock, I see, and I can't believe what I'm seeing, but why do companies like Bentley and Maserati make a 4x4? I've seen a 4x4 Bentley, and I've seen a 4x4 Maserati. At least I thought it was a Maserati. Why do the car companies, particularly those car companies, feel like they have to have a 4x4 in their lineup?
It's about performance. It's not about off-roading. It's about when you get those high-powered engines and, you step on them to really a fast acceleration. You need that all-wheel or four-wheel drive to get it going. I mean, we're seeing that in a lot of cars. I leased a Maserati in 2017, just finished the lease back in June, and it had 460 horses, and it was an all-wheel drive car, and you could tell the difference. It transfers the power from the rear wheels when you're driving normal to the front wheels, depending on how hard you get on it, how far you push that accelerator. So it's all about performance. It's not. It has nothing to do with going off road. Trust me.
What's on the show this Saturday, Jerry?
We're going to be talking about tax code 179 a lot. That is an accelerated depreciation for self-employed and business owners. It's been around forever, but we just updated the 2020 rules. And essentially what happens is if you own a business or you're self-employed, and it doesn't matter if it's a big business or a lawn mowing business, and you buy a 6,000-pound gross vehicle weight rating SUV or pickup, then you can write the entire amount off on this year's taxes. So if you're looking at writing a check next April, you can buy yourself a new vehicle this year and probably eliminate that. So I've got the rules for that up at carprousa.com. And again, my thoughts on that California governor's.
I'm going to read those tomorrow. Thank you, Jerry. Appreciate it. Jerry Reynolds, the Car Pro. He'll be on this Saturday on KFYO at 11 o'clock. You're listening to Dave King and Matt Martin. We'll be back here in just a few minutes.